Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to share the news that broke last night about Mason Gooding signing back on to reprise his role as Chad Meeks Martin and return to Scream 7. Now I will be giving you my thoughts on what this potentially could mean for the storyline, and then also share my thoughts on his return in general. So let's get into this pretty surprising news for Scream 7 right now. Let's go.
It's David Arquette, Dewey from the Scream movies, as you know. Remember, there's only one rule to surviving a horror movie, and that's subscribing to Craving Something Scary.
So Variety has reported that Mason Gooding has agreed to return for Scream 7 to once again reprise his role as Chad Meeks Martin. Now before I share my opinion and some theories about this move, let's first take a look at the article in Variety. Now the headline states, Mason Gooding to return for Scream 7 exclusive. All right. And the article goes on to read, sources tell me that the actor will reprise his role as Chad Meeks Martin for the 7th installment of the horror franchise. Jasmine Savoy Brown, who plays Chad's sister, Mindy, has not officially signed on yet. In fact, if you guys remember, a week or two ago now, Jasmine actually came out on her social media and said that she will not be returning for Scream 7. So it looks like to me that Mason Gooding is going to be the only member of the core 4 that is going to make an appearance in Scream 7. Now the article ends right here in this section by saying news of Gooding's return comes after the film weathered in production delays, creative overhauls, and cast shakeups. And I will just say this about that. Creative overhauls, that honestly gets me a little excited because that means that Kevin Williamson has definitely gotten his hands dirty, if you will, in the script, which is a good thing. Because obviously creative overhauls, if there was no well, obviously there's going to be changes when Melissa and Jenna said they weren't coming back. But this entire year, as Nev, even when Nev signed on, she was still getting new versions of the script. So I think the evidence points to Kevin Williamson being involved a lot in the script for Scream 7, which was, I know, my hope and many of yours as well. So taking what Guy Busick has written and then basically, I believe, cleaned it up, massaged out the kinks, and maybe even added some great stuff. So I'm very excited about the potential for Scream 7. I'm very excited to see it and see what this story outline is actually going to be and how it's going to play out with Kevin Williamson's hand touching the script. I think it's going to be fantastic. Totally. So we have the news. Mason's returning. Now, I want to talk to you about, at this point, shift gears and talk about how his return, I should say, may impact the story of Scream 7. Now, the number one thing I want to mention is this. Just because Mason has signed on and will be getting Chad back, it does not mean necessarily that Chad will be in the movie for very long. All right, so be careful jumping to assumptions that we're going to have Chad for the entire film. I am not convinced of that. Now, here's one scenario that I see his role being smaller. So, for example, he may meet up with Gale and Sydney to bring closure to the Core 4. So he could explain why the rest of the Core 4 are not there, and what's going on in their lives. And after some conversation, answering questions from Gale and Sydney, he wishes them the best and he leaves. It could literally be a 15-minute scene where Chad gets all of this information out to Gale and Sydney, brings closure to the Core 4, and answers all the questions that you would think would be asked by those living in that universe. In this case, Gale and Sydney. And that could be it. He could just be there to tie it up. Now, another thing that could be the reason why his role could be smaller, and honestly, to be honest with you, the first time I heard the news last night, when I first heard it, immediately what popped into my head over anything else was that Chad may be the opening kill, which will serve as the launching point for the return of Ghostface. And if he is the opening kill in Scream 7, I see this scenario going one of two ways. The first way is that we see Chad meeting Sydney and Gale, just as I mentioned a moment ago. And when he leaves the meeting, the camera follows Chad, and he is attacked and killed by Ghostface when he arrives home. So we see Chad going home, pulling up in his driveway, getting out, disarming the alarm system, doing all that stuff. And then bang, he's attacked, completely off guard, and killed by Ghostface. Now the security cameras will record his murder, and this way everyone sees that it is Ghostface and he is back. So it wasn't just a random killing, it was Ghostface that killed Chad. And then that sets off everything from there. That gets Sydney on alert, Gale, everything from that point forward. Now, that's one scenario. The second scenario regarding him being the opening kill is that at the beginning of the movie, let's say we see Chad at his house talking on the phone with Gale or Sydney. And they set up a meeting where he can catch up with them and explain things in more detail about the other three members of the Core 4. But before he's able to leave to go meet Gale and Sydney, like at a cafe or a coffee shop, before he's able to leave his house, he's getting ready, gets dressed, grabs his keys, and then bam, Ghostface attacks and kills him in his house, and Chad never gets to have that meeting with Sydney and Gale. So that's another scenario I think we could possibly see play out regarding him being the opening kill. So, you know what? We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about what Chad could be doing and how long he may be in the movie. I'm just going to say this. Could he be in the whole movie? Sure, he could. But I am not convinced of it, and I'm not going in expecting it. It would be a surprise to me if we see Chad for more than about 15 minutes, either through the opening kill or just a scene where they meet up and talk. But it may not be that long. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. All right, everyone, look, I'll leave it there for now. But I want to know what you guys are thinking about the return of Chad in Scream 7. I want to know your thoughts, ideas, and what theories you have involving his role and what it will be in the movie. So please start leaving your comments below right now so that I can understand what you're thinking and we can begin a discussion. All right, so guys, that's going to be all for this update, but I'll be back soon with more Scream 7 and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to the channel. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.